So yeah, Kim, thanks for doing this for me. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah. So, not only for this show, but like in everything you cast,
Uh-huh.
man, you have some fantastic ensembles. I mean, like from the leads to even the day players, it's just like mind-boggling how good every single person is. Like
Oh, thank you.
when you start to put together like this show, I would think it's like, or every show, it's like a massive puzzle. How does your mind get around? Like, how do you even start?
Well, first of all, I'm so blessed and fortunate to work on so many different things. And, every show's different. We usually start by maybe identifying one or two roles that we start with and, to set the tone and then the ensemble. And then we sort of build from there. It's like we grow the tree, some roles pair well with another, couples, families, etc. It depends. Not everyone makes sense sometimes in the same world, just like in real life. So I try to uncover as many stones as possible, within the world to create the most authentic energy as possible. So I like to pair like veteran actors with up and comers and, and throwing some new faces, as long as it all feels cohesive and organic, it's just exciting to see different groups of, actors come together and, and they learn from one another. So that's what I try to do.
Was anybody attached to this before you started to cast?
Yeah, no one was attached, and I came on a little early to consult for the Vera Farmiga role and Cherry Jones role. So basically they were those two roles were like the anchors, and I came on board, and I did some preliminary lists for Carlton and John, and then from there we built the world. And Cherry was someone that we cast in American Crime. So she was definitely always on, my short list as far as Vera as well. And Vera had worked with Carlton Cuson, Bates Motel. So it was a very short list, and we were all creatively on the same page. So it was great.
I love both Vera Farmiga and Cherry Jones, especially Cherry Jones. I would cast her like in everything.
Every show. She's on every list that I do, no matter what, because she's fantastic and she can do anything.
No, like those two, they don't have to audition for it. You just kind of bring them in and say, "Hey, you want to do this?"
Hey, you read the script? Would you love to do it? It depends on, again, each show. In this particular show, no. Cherry, we knew, we love, we know she's great. The same with Vera and Carlton, to work with her, and they're established. They that they can deliver. So no, they don't no need to audition for those two.
What was the hardest role you had to cast?
Was the hardest role? I don't know what was the hardest role. I guess it wasn't just the hardest. I think maybe I don't know, Diane Robichaud, and maybe Dr. Brian in some ways, I just want to get the essence of who those characters were, and but it wasn't difficult. It was just figuring out what actors could deliver and really bring that essence of the character. Not so much like physically, when you're casting for real people, a lot of times it's not all about physicality. It's about who can really transform and make you feel like this is the person, so. Yeah, it wasn't. I don't want to say there was not one role in particular that was hard. Yeah, it was just getting the right mix together.
Now you did mention like real people. Were most of the characters here like based on real people or actually real people?
Yeah, well the show was based on the nonfiction book written by Sherry Fink, and a lot of those folks were real people.
Do you feel a certain sense of responsibility when you cast somebody who's like, a real?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of times in not so specific to this, but I've cast other, shows and films of actors playing real people. And again, I just I do, I mean, there's some aspects of physicality that you have to look at, if the real person is, 6'2", you don't want to really cast anyone that's like 5'2" or
Right.
5. But, I take that in consideration too. But, I may post some photos of the real people just for inspiration and, for myself. And just to sort of get the creative juices flowing, I do whatever, research I can do, I can find. And then when I start casting, I'm looking for certain aspects or similarities, in the performance.
Do you watch all the things that you cast, like afterwards?
I try to, and this is really weird because I try to, I really do. And then it's almost like I'm looking at it, it's so surreal. Like, okay, we're so in the beginning process of a show, when it finally comes out and it's like, wow, I love the way that, that turned out, but I try to, and, I love looking at the actors and, seeing, what they do and what they actually brought to the table, besides the audition and, in the big picture. So yeah, I try to, but I'm always like, I feel like actors, like you can't really look at your own work.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, even for this show, I mean, the performances are just terrific. I mean, I would think like you would sometimes just sit and watch some of these like more emotional scenes and just think, yes, they nailed it. And then in the back of your mind saying, well, yes, I nailed it too.
I don't think it's ever I nailed it, but the casting process, it can be intense, it's emotional, it can be, fast paced. So, when you have time spent away from a project and wrapping it up and seeing it on screen, I mean, it's just exciting and rewarding. And I'm like, yeah, she was really great, or he was really great. And I really feel proud of it, It's so, yeah, I just always feel proud of the end result. I feel like, not for every show, not for every actor, but I would say, yeah, 90% of the time, yes.
So were these auditions mostly, I mean, the ones that you had to audition for, like mostly through self-tapes?
Yeah. I think just about all of them were, because we were sort of, in the time of COVID, and casting the show, vaccines were just starting to, to come out, and everything was uncertain. And so I would look at self-tapes, and I would have, have positive, negative, reactions to it. And, Carlton, John, the team, they allowed anyone to be considered for a role, no matter, where they were in the world. And
oh, nice.
we allowed actors to feel comfortable in their space when performing. And, we would look at it. I would look at, some of the self-tapes and maybe have them retape, make sure the lighting is a little better, or, this setting, try not to have the kids running across. Everyone was just learning. And, but yeah, it was mainly self-tapes, and I learned a lot, met a lot of, new actors during that time. And the only downside is like, you don't necessarily get to work with the people in real time. Having auditions in the room, there is something that happens. There's some magic that you can't capture over, over Zoom. But, the actors go off their instincts, and, we try to make it work.
I'm an actor too, and I do miss that sort of
being in the interpersonal interaction, because it's like if you and I are sitting there, it's like I may say, oh, well, why don't we try this? Or you may say, I was thinking about it this way. So some of that I do miss, but I think we're slowly getting back into the rooms. I had a couple in person, like today, chemistry reads. So I think things are slowly getting back to normal, slowly.
I haven't missed the traffic, I'll tell you that.
No. And I'm telling you, it's funny, today specifically, the callbacks were in Santa Monica, and I'm in Valley Village. So it was like,
yeah.
I just like, you forget how insane it is, but.
Right. Speaking about self-tapes and like auditions, do you have any self-tape tips or audition tips or things that you see all the time that you just wish, actors would know?
Yeah, but I think, it's funny. In the very beginning, I think everyone was really learning their way. But I think now it's like the actors have become like pros. They have the backdrops, they have the great lighting, they have the diva lights, the sound is great. They get like an actor to, a friend to read with them. So I think in the beginning, it was like, finding a, reading partner, which, sometimes on self-tapes, and I know it may be hard for actors, but if you have someone that's so distracting reading with you, you know what I'm saying? It can sort of take away some time from your audition. So I always say, just try to get someone, like an actor friend or a reader or something, because a lot of times if they're reading too slow, or you're focusing more on that instead of the actor. But and I think lighting is important. And like I would tell actors, don't go spend a lot of money on this expensive equipment. But as a performer, as an actor, and with us being in the situation, I said, look, you can get a little diva light for $39.90, and it's the best investment you could ever make. So I think sometimes lighting, make sure you frame yourself, make sure your facial expressions are clear, and just be prepared. Like I would say, if I were in the room with them.
My wife is my reader usually, and she's terrible. I hope she never watches this, but that's a thank you for saying. So I'm gonna have to start looking for
Yeah, sometimes, and we get it. Look, I take that into consideration. I don't hold that against anyone, but if it's something that I don't feel like I can send on, I would say, why don't you retape it, and then I would even maybe try to help them get a reader or someone to read with them, or myself.
A lot of casting directors have their kind of niche that they're in, but you like float from like serious dramas to comedy, like even science fiction sometimes. I mean, is that just the way things panned out for you, or is there like or is like, do you like, I mean, how did that happen? Do you like one more genre than the other?
Yeah, it's just not really, it keeps everything fresh and exciting, for me. And it's kind of how things worked out. I mean, I love all movies. I love television. I try to watch everything and be open to everything. For me, I think a good story is a good story, no matter, the genre. So yeah, I like to do a couple different things. Like I have a movie called Nanny, and there was, a new young director, and it's a genre that I really, really haven't gotten into, the whole horror genre, but it was fun. It was great. It was fun. It was just interesting, and just from a different point of view, just creatively, just putting that group together. So yeah, I'm just doesn't matter.
Just a couple more questions. So like, how would an actor, if they don't have an agent, get seen by you? Or how would they, would send in like a headshot through the actual, something called the mail, whatever that is now?
Yeah. What is that? What is that?
Send you like an email or like.
Yeah, a lot of times, back in the day, we'd have like showcases, we'd have, you can see actors. Now just, I think on like social media, IG, or, actors for some reason know how to find you. Let me tell you, they know how to find you. And I'm open to, I've had so many actors reach out to me personally and say, how can I do this? How can I do that? It's like, I can't get you an agent, but I will look at your, if you guys get a reel together, get something together, even if it's a monologue when you're at home, just, put something in front of me. And then if, I have a group of, my colleagues, and I can say, hey, this is a young actor, and we talk all the time. That's what we like to do. It's like we love to be introduced to new actors. So they find me. Everyone knows, who send me the stuff. It's like now I think it's better. It's not like before. Again, you would send us headshots and your little the little cards with all
those
of your
cards. Yeah.
I miss those. I really do like those.
Yeah, I used to have like a ton of those, and just toss them in the mail.
I know, and actors used to always think that casting directors never look at them, but we do. I would keep them all in my office, in my desk, and when certain like smaller roles came up and I felt like someone was right, I would always try to give young actors a chance to to audition or bring them in.
Nice.
Yeah.
And then my final question is, what's like the weirdest or craziest audition you've ever seen or been a part of?
Oh man, an actor was in my office, and he was in a scene. It was a very emotional scene, and we were so very close to each other, talking, and he was so mad and he was so into it that he hit my actual wall in my office and put a big hole in the wall. And I still stayed like reading with him, like in the moment. But afterwards, I was like, you have to pay for my wall. It was a huge hole. He never did, but that's okay. Never did, but that's okay. Look, I can't say any names. I can't
Right. Yeah.
But,
yeah. Did you ever call him back in?
Yeah, I did. I did. It was funny. It's like, you were so, intense, but I was shocked that the wall actually, broke like that. It's like, oh my gosh, what is that? But that's that I always remember that one.
Yeah. Well, hey,
I try to have fun with actors. I always want actors to because I respect, actors so much. I try to, when we would be in the office, and even now with self-tapes, it's like, keep your head high. I never wanted anyone to leave my office with their head down. And they would think that they didn't give the best performance. I said, look, you came in, you did what you did, and a lot of times you're not getting this job. It has nothing to do with your performance. You know what I mean? It's a lot of different factors. And don't worry, because I always remember actors. This may not be the one for you, but something else is coming along. So I always want to be encouraging.
Well, that is like the perfect ending to this thing, I think. Wow, that was great.